There are many world cycles in which the Buddha appears for only a few monk periods, kappa. In the monk periods where the Buddha appears, sometimes there are 2, 3, or 4 Buddhas appearing in the same monk period, and there are also monk periods where there is only one Buddha. In the current Sangha period, there are only a maximum of 5 Buddhas appearing. In it, Maitreya Buddha only appeared after many millions of years when the current Dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha disappeared. The teachings of the Buddhas that appeared before in this world also disappeared after hundreds of thousands of years or tens of thousands of years, after the Buddhas entered parinirvana. The time that the Dharma circulates in the world varies from period to period. And there are dark periods when there is no Dharma at all. According to the commentaries, the current Dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha only lasted about 5,000 years before disappearing from the world. It is now 2,524 years, 1980 CE, after Buddha entered nirvana. The number of people in this world who understand, accept and respect the true Dharma is decreasing day by day. And there are only about 2,500 years left before the Dharma will disappear. Buddha Shakyamuni appeared on earth 25 centuries ago. Before him, for many millions of years, no one had the opportunity to hear the true teachings of Buddha, to understand and practice. People in those dark ages were beings without good fortune. And because they do not hear and practice the true Dharma, very few people are reborn in the realms of comfort and nobility. Listen to the Dharma and practice it. With the Buddha's manifestation, the Dharma was widely preached. Due to listening to this teaching, many people during the Buddha's time practiced according to it, doing good karma such as giving alms, dana, and keeping morality, sila, and thanks to that, they were reborn in the realms. Heaven. Many other people have attained enlightenment, achieved arahantship, and attained nirvana. Perhaps at that time, the majority of people who were reborn in states of comfort or nirvana were the inhabitants of Nepal and India, because the Bodhisattva Prince Siddhartha was born in Nepal, practiced the Dharma and attained enlightenment in India. He propagated the Dharma for 45 years in those areas. People in these two countries had the opportunity to hear and practice his teachings. Therefore, during that period, there were many people who were either reborn in the peaceful heavenly realms, or attained sainthood, or attained nirvana, completely freed from suffering. Now we also need to practice according to the Dharma. Even though the Buddha is no longer alive, we are still lucky because we still have enough conditions to hear and learn his true teachings. Therefore, we must respectfully practice according to this true Dharma. What are those true teachings? Buddha's Dharma. The Buddha's Dharma can be summarized through the following verse: do not do evil, try to do good things, always keep your mind pure. That is the teaching of the Buddhas. Dhammapada and Daya Nikaya, Kayakama, unwholesome actions are, 1. Killing living beings, 2. Taking what is not given, or stealing, and 3. Adultery. These 3 things are unwholesome actions that should always be avoided. Vachikama, next, the 4 negative karmas of speech are, 1. Lying to harm others, 2. Speaking slander to create discord, 3. Speaking rude and aggressive words, and 4. Talking about others. Falsehoods as truths related to the preaching of heretical doctrines. These 4 types of words are unwholesome karma and should be avoided. Wrong livelihood, mikajiva. It is necessary to avoid false actions and words to create unjust personal gain, because that is an unwholesome way of living. You must always observe the 5 precepts to practice according to Buddha's teachings to avoid doing evil things and have a noble and pure life. Good karma, kusala kama. Briefly, good karma consists of 3 elements: generosity, dana, morality, sila, and cultivation of the mind, bhavana. Among these factors, Buddhists must always have a generous and sharing heart. Buddhists are always generous, willing to share with others what they have, and for that reason, they are praised and respected by others. The recipient of alms will have respect for the person giving alms, and they will be willing to cooperate and help when needed. People with a generous heart will create many blessings, and will be reborn in good, noble realms. Good morality, sila kusala, precepts, sila, means taking refuge in the three jewels Buddha Dharma Sangha and observing moral rules such as the 5 precepts or the 8 precepts. To become Buddhists, we vow to be faithful and take refuge in the 3 jewels and observe the 5 or 8 precepts, often called 3 refuges, 5 precepts, for lay Buddhists. By following this, we will have a guarantee that in future lives we will not fall into miserable states such as the hell realms, animal realms, hungry ghosts, or asuras. Instead, true Buddhists will have many blessings to be reborn as humans or in peaceful heavenly realms to have many opportunities to practice. Practice goodness, bhavana kusala. This is a more noble way of creating blessings, through cultivating the mind. In Buddhism, cultivating the mind is done through meditation, practicing samatha meditation, samatha bhavana, and practicing vipassana meditation, vipassana bhavana. There is another way often called the noble path of practice, Arya Magga Bhavana, cultivating the mind to enter the supramundane holy path. Zen consists of only 40 subjects, 10 subjects of changing places, kasina, 10 subjects of impurity, asubha, 10 subjects of contemplation, anasati, and 10 subjects of miscellaneous, Buddha's recitation, Buddhanussati. Among meditation topics, Buddha's name is a way to visualize and respect the noble qualities of the Buddha, who is worthy of the respect and offerings of gods and humans. What is it like to practice through this method? It is to meditate and visualize that the Buddha is a noble being with all the noble qualities of virtue, meditation, and wisdom. When we sincerely respect him, we will have many blessings to be reborn in a happy state. We contemplate the title of praying practitioner of an enlightened being. One of his virtues is that he has personally realized the 4 noble truths, 4 noble truths. And that is a virtue that only Buddha has, and we respect him, the perfectly enlightened one, Samma Sambuddha. Because he has a transcendent wisdom and immeasurable compassion to teach sentient beings, showing them the way to escape the suffering of the Saha world, he has all the virtues of a Buddha, a worldly being. This needs to be contemplated. Practicing through reciting the Buddha's grace, Buddhanussati Bhavana, is also done by contemplating his other qualities. For Buddhists, every time they admire and respect him, they practice the Buddha's name, reciting Dharma, Dhammanussati. Next, the Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, are the result of his own practice, and experience, and he transmitted them correctly and profitably to his disciples. If these teachings are practiced correctly and respectfully, they will help us develop wonderful insights. Every time we contemplate the wonderful benefits of the Buddha's Dharma and place our full faith in it, we cultivate good karma in the form of Dharma recitation, reciting the Sangha, Sanghanussati. We contemplate the noble virtues being practiced by his monastic disciples, of the disciples who have attained holy enlightenment. As a way to contemplate the virtues of the Sangha, contemplation of loving kindness, metta bhavana, when we ourselves have a wish to escape suffering, others also have the same wish. Therefore, compassion contemplation is to sincerely pray for happiness and peace for each living being in all species in the 6 realms of samsara. Practicing the Buddha's recitation and compassion contemplation as much as possible, regularly every day, is to practice according to the Buddha's teachings for lay people, to create many beautiful blessings, comprehensive insight, vipassana kusala. This is the way to create blessings through the path of continuous contemplation of the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless characteristics of life, through the psychophysical phenomena of each of us, right within ourselves and in others. This is the way of meditation according to the Buddha's practice to directly realize the ephemeral, temporary nature, birth and death, of the body-mind system and attachment to it, often called the 5 aggregates. Upadana. When this blessing is ripe, the good conditions for cultivating the noble path, Aryam Magapavana Kusala, will blossom and help us realize nirvana, mind purification. Regarding the teaching, always keep the mind pure, means that after realizing nirvana through the 4 noble paths, Arya Maggas, the Buddha continued to develop the mind through the 4 noble fruitions, Arya Phalas. This is the process of purifying the mind through the emergence of Arya Phala Siddhas, practice to lead to happiness. At this point, a summary of how to respectfully practice the Buddha's teachings has been presented. Practicing like that, we will get the happiness we are always looking for. That is the way to lead to the peaceful realms of humans and gods with vast happiness, and even more noble and beautiful, will lead to achieving nirvana, the end of suffering, with eternal happiness. That is also the way we help maintain and preserve the Buddha's Dharma, creating joy and happiness for others similar to our own. I hope you practice well as described, achieve the happiness you often wish for, and quickly attain the ultimate happiness of nirvana. Practice meditation for 3 minutes. Now, I will guide you to try practicing Vipassana meditation for a few minutes. Vipassana meditation is the practice of recording the arising and passing away of psychophysical phenomena to help us clearly realize their true nature. Every time we see, hear, taste, smell, touch or perceive, these phenomena continuously appear and disappear. It is important to note them and be aware of them each time they appear. However, in the beginning, it is impossible to note everything we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or know. Therefore, we need to limit our focus to just a few phenomena. Every time we breathe in and out, our abdomen moves in a very clear, easy-to-follow pattern of rising and falling. This is the manifestation of a moving element that we often call wind, Vayo Dhatu, wind element, one of the 4 main elements, earth, water, fire, wind, and is an easy object to observe, record. Now, let's try practicing for 3 minutes, after we have a stable sitting position. During this time, we don't need to look at anything, so we should close our eyes. Pay attention to the abdomen. When the abdomen rises, note it as rising. When the abdomen falls, note it as falling. There's no need to whisper to yourself rising and falling. Just note it in your mind, mindfully. If the mind wanders elsewhere, note such wandering, note wandering. Then return to the main topic of the rising and falling of the abdomen. If you feel tired or in pain, just note 2 or 3 times, pain, 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 then bring your mind back to the object of noting the movement of the abdomen. If you hear a certain sound, just note 2 or 3 times, hearing, hearing, listening, then focus again on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Try to continue like that for a while. A short time of 3 minutes, conclude. Now 3 minutes have passed. In each minute, we can note 50 or 60 movements. In 3 minutes, we can note 150 to 180 times. All such recording actions are the way to practice Vipassana Kusala according to the Buddha's teachings. When concentration, samadhi, is developed through practice, we will perceive mind and body, or name and form, clearly and realize their interrelationship. We will personally realize their birth and death, that is, directly perceive their impermanence, anicca, characteristic. In the process of practicing like this, we will gradually develop insight, and finally achieve the realization of nirvana with knowledge of the path and fruition.
Thank you for spending your valuable time on my channel journey to enlightenment. Wishing you a very peaceful and happy day. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my support channel. See you in the next video.